Hey y'all, today we'll be taking a dive into the genius of Bartholomew's son, written and directed by Lowell Frank and Destin Daniel Cretton. If you clicked on this video, you probably already know what this short film is, but I'm going to go and summarize it anyway, just so we're all on the same page. To keep this short, and stay within the assignment guidelines, I'll be speeding through it in 20 seconds. Bartholomew's Son is a story about a dystopian world. Men known as Barths wake up every day to create doorstops as commanded by women through speakers. One of them, Barth 167, finds a music player, bringing it to his room, learning how to sing the song it plays. Eventually, he wishes to bring the song to the other Barth workers, so when disposing of defective doorstops as he normally would, he kills the woman giving the commands and sings to the workers. Barth 467 is taken away, things return to normal for everyone except for Barth 584, who is left in wonder by the music. Did you catch all that? Hope so, or else the rest of the thing might be a bit confusing. So, in our deep dive, we'll be looking into how Bartholomew's song takes advantage of repetition, sound design, color, and a bit of juxtaposition to tell its story. So, to begin, what the directors make immediately clear is how repetitive the lives of the Barths really are, which they showcase through the use of shot repetition. In the first few scenes, we see the Barths receiving instruction, then walking back to their rooms. Later on, we see them receiving instruction on another day, then walking back to their rooms once more. Hey, this is where 467 finds that music player too, marking the beginning of his quest for individuality. As we enter the next day, instruction is given as normal, but this is where 467 begins to exhibit more individuality thanks to the music. This is especially apparent when we see the Barths walking back to the rooms later that day. I mean, just look at them go. So, one place where this repetition of shots is especially apparent is when 467 is tasked to dispose of a defective cube. The first time the film shows him do this, he cuts it, sweeps it, wipes the knife, and sets it on the counter. It works very rhythmically, which becomes more obvious as you see it again. Later in the film, he disposes of another cube. So he cuts it, sweeps it, wipes the knife, and sets it on the counter. He does this one more time on the final day, cutting it, sweeping it, wiping it, but not putting the knife away. Instead, he takes it with him and enters the room where Marth 215, yeah, she goes by Marth, is giving out commands as usual. Here, he cuts her, sweeps her, wipes the knife, and finally sets it on the counter. So guess what? The entire cube disposing sequence was foreshadowing of the murdering of Marth 215 with a juxtaposition of repetitive shots between them. If you don't believe me now, let's take a listen to the sound design of those defective cube scenes.
Attach component A to component B with...
Every room has a distinct droning or buzzing noise to emphasize how lifeless the environments feel, but the defective cube room is a much deeper, more sinister tone. Let's hear it again the final time 467 disposes of a cube. Yeah, I didn't edit that clip, it's gotten a lot louder this time. And if you caught it, the deep drone actually follows him out of the room, which it never did before. The darkness of what he wants to do follows him, taking him to the next room over where he decides to get a little bit stabby with Marth. So all this talk may partly look into the catalyst of all this drama, music player. So, to begin, this thing's blue.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Okay, if you're wondering why that matters, it's the only blue thing in the entire film. In case you haven't noticed, every room in this film has an incredibly drab green and yellow color scheme, making things look dull and kinda gross actually. But the music player is something new and different to 467, which is emphasized by its blueness, a color unique to it, making it stand out in the world. It brings individuality and freedom to 467, pushing him to step out of line and challenge the authorities controlling him. What helps push this action in 467 is the juxtaposition between the music player's speakers and the authoritative speakers that command the Barths. The directors didn't even try to make it subtle, opting for an instant harsh cut between both of these. 467 understands that the speakers are a form of communication, allowing him to connect the dots and causing him to sing through the authoritative speakers, instead of just breaking out into song while on the assembly line. Alright, so I'm sure there's more to mention, like how the camera is motionless through the whole film until the final scenes, or the significance of the only red color being Marth 215's blood, but that's all I'll be covering here. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to practice smart knife safety.